Hello, my name is Deb Morgan and I am the Real Relationships Expert at Not a Rehearsal. And I'm absolutely thrilled and delighted to have been asked by MO2VATE magazine to interview some of their contributing authors. Now, MO2VATE magazine is a business magazine which is the brainchild of Sharon Brown of Revival Sanctuary. And to find out more about the magazine, go to www.MO2VATEmagazine.com. And MO2VATE is spelled M-O, the number 2, V-A-T-E, magazine.com. And today, I'm joined by Lavinia Milner Gray, who is a holistic health and wellness coach of Origin of Energy Coaching. Lavinia, welcome.
Thank you so much, Deb. Thanks for having me today.
You're very welcome. Now, I have to say, I read your article in the Christmas edition of MO2VATE magazine, and it left me in two minds. On the one hand, it left me inspired and motivated to get out there and to start moving and to start exercising. And on the other hand, it left me feeling completely guilty and slovenly. So,
Oh no.
first of all, and that's not such a bad thing because, that can be a motivator in itself.
Yeah.
First of all, though, I've got a question for you. I love that you don't refer to exercise as exercise, do you?
No, I don't.
What
I
do you
don't.
refer to it as?
I refer to it as movement. And the reason for that is a lot of my clients that I work with want to become healthier. And part of that is working on their fitness, but they don't like exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So for them, exercise has negative connotations. It may mean them doing something, engaging in an activity they don't want to engage in. So exercise says you need to go out for a run or you need to do a gym workout. Well, that's not what exercise is all about. There's all different types of movements that you can do. So that's the reason why I call it movement. It's more gentle, and it opens up, other avenues to other sorts of movement rather than just the two things.
Oh, fantastic. Because that's where my guilt was coming in, because I thought, oh
Mm,
no, I know I need to move, and I was feeling motivated to do some movement, but then feeling really guilty because I hadn't gone out and run for 5 miles. So it was one of those, oh no, it's not no point going out. I feel guilty now. I feel bad. So what do we do in that situation? We reach for the chocolate or we reach for the
eh,
wine, don't we? So I
yeah,
can
absolutely.
completely empathize with your clients. How do you go about working with your clients when they come to you in
Mm,
that situation? Say, look, I want to lose weight. I want to get fit. I don't like exercise. Last time I exercised, it was in school. I was wearing horrible gym knickers. I was in a cold school hall. How do you inspire them to get started on some form of movement? And what are the sorts of movements that you would inspire them to get involved with?
we start with, the reason for their goal. Number one, why is it that they're looking to move? What is it that they want to improve? What are they looking for? Um, and then from there, it's being curious. I always encourage my clients to be curious, a bit playful, and be open to experimentation. So it's things like, have you ever tried anything in the past? What do you like? What don't you like?
Mm-hmm.
So then we're clear on that. And then I'll give them suggestions, or I'll encourage them to come up with suggestions. Is there anything that you were curious that you wanted to try, but you haven't? And would you like to try it now? And sometimes they just need the support and the encouragement to go, you know what? I've thought about going rock climbing and I just haven't gone round to it. So it'd be like, how about we call the rock climbing center this afternoon and see if they've got a spot for you?
Mm-hmm.
And then that sort of triggers the curiosity of, oh, maybe I will enjoy it. And then they're more receptive to trying it, or just to try some sort of movement. So yeah, so curiosity is the key, and being open to experiment.
That's fantastic. And of
Yeah.
course, it's like anything, isn't it? Just try it. You only have to try it once. You don't
Yeah.
have to commit to, to running a marathon, for example, which is a big undertaking. Just commit
Yes.
to trying one lesson or one class
Yeah.
or taking one step. I really, really like that. And what about those that come to you and say, oh, I'm far too old for this now? When you said rock climbing, I thought, oh my goodness, would I rock climb at almost 50? And then the sort of thought process went, well, actually, why wouldn't you?
Mm,
But I know that so many of us use age as a barrier to trying new
yeah.
things, particularly new exercises. And how do you overcome that? And what do you say to the people who say to you, oh, I'm far too old for that?
We're only as old as we feel. We'll start with something gentle. It doesn't have to be, something as out there as rock climbing, but going out for a walk. But what I find a lot of the time is a lot of people don't realize that they're engaging in movement anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be just tweaking what they're doing, like gardening, for instance. I speak to a lot of people that enjoy gardening. They may do it for 5 minutes. How about we extend that time and do it for 20 minutes because you're engaging in movement?
Uh-huh.
Or cleaning. That's another one we don't think about that is actually moving.
Mm.
It's like set a date for your cleaning. How about you clean again for 20 minutes? That sort of moderate intensity movement. So, yeah. So it just opens, all these other possibilities.
That's really interesting. And of course, we forget that in the course of our daily lives, we are moving, we are exercising. And I know for myself, I decided to do a spring clean recently. So I spent a number of hours, I was moving furniture, cleaning under furniture
Yeah,
that doesn't get moved perhaps from one year to the next. So heavy furniture that I got my
that's
partner
right.
to help me move. And afterwards I was sweating, I was aching. And I thought, oh my goodness, I don't feel like this. When I go out for a run, I should have gone running. It would have been much easier. So, and we forget those daily things that we do that do all add up to our sort of exercise quota, if you like,
That's right.
from, I suppose, things like even taking the bins out. You're carrying something
Yeah,
out to the end of the garden path or wherever it might be.
yeah,
Things like that. With the
that's
people
right.
you've worked with, what's been the most unusual form of movement that people have wanted to get involved with, or you've encouraged people to get involved with?
Probably pole dancing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's again one of those things. It's like, oh, could I try that? I don't have the right body for it. What are people going to think? I've never tried it before. Yeah, and it's like, why not? Why not try it? There are, well, not now, but before, there are centers that would have pole dancing just, for
Mm-hmm.
women, sort of in a private, safe space. So yeah, probably pole dancing, I'd say, is the most out there thing that I've had a client that's wanted to
Wow,
try.
yes.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I've heard that pole dancing exercises
Oh,
muscles you didn't even know you had.
absolutely. I mean, I haven't tried it myself, but I do know a fitness specialist who that's her specialty is pole
Oh,
dancing.
wow.
And yeah, it sounds like a great way to keep fit because you're right, you're using muscles you would never, never usually use.
My goodness. And of course, in recent years, I suppose there has been an upsurge in interest in all types of dance, hasn't
Yeah.
there? We have things like Strictly and Dancing on
Yes.
Ice and lots of dance programs across
Yeah.
TV now. So I guess that also inspires people to try new things.
Yeah. Very much so. Yeah. Dance is one of the popular ones for
Fantastic.
sure. Yeah. And it's just so much fun.
It is,
You're
isn't
out
it?
there with other people engaging in this fun activity. So yeah, dance is a great one.
Brilliant. And what I'm hearing from the conversation we're having is that the underlying theme for you in terms of movement is about having fun and
Yes.
making it fun. And I think in the article, you talk about how we often say that exercise isn't fun, and we feel it's a chore and something we must do. And I love that you say that it is fun and
Yeah.
that's what your focus is.
Mm.
And another part of the article that really caught me, bear in mind of my age, I'm almost 50. I know quite a lot of the demographic that read MO2VATE magazine are in Revival Sanctuary, which is Sharon's networking group, are of a similar age, sort of midlife, if you will.
Yeah.
What about the importance of exercise as we age, and particularly for women? I know from my own reading that it's very important to do exercise to help us against things like osteoporosis and that sort of thing. Are there sort of age-specific exercises for men and women? Does exercise make an impact across both genders at midlife? You know, what's the best advice you can give to somebody in midlife contemplating exercise?
I would say just try what works. For me, I try not to, you know, focus on the age too much, because I see that sometimes as a barrier. You know, people may not want to try something because they feel they're too old, and they may not engage in that activity as good as a 20-year-old. You know, so I encourage them, put that aside and just try it. You know, if you're curious about going out for a jog, go up for a jog. You know, try 5 minutes and then walk after that. So yeah, so it's just finding something that you're curious about doing and just doing it, and not letting age get in the way.
And I like that, because you do see all ages. And I know myself and lots of my friends, lots of my peers get quite intimidated by the gym, but the prospect of going out on our own. And I mentioned or touched on the fact that I run a little. I used to run a lot more than I run now. But I know when I started out, I would go out in the dark, in the early hours of the morning, in the dark before it got light, so nobody could see me, because I didn't want people to see me. I thought, no, I'm old. I've not run before. I'm going to look daft. And that fear of judgment stops so many of us, doesn't it, from exercising? Is that something you come across a lot when you're working with clients?
Yes, absolutely. It's the number one thing that people are afraid of, is being judged by others. The funny thing is people don't judge. For instance, when I go for runs, like for fun runs and trail runs, and everybody's come together, it's amazing, the community. Everyone's there to support and encourage each other. So I think it's our own perception of what we think people are thinking and saying, when in my experience, and then when my clients have actually gone out and participated in you know, community activities, it's not the case at all. Everyone is there to actually boost each other and encourage each other to keep going. And I think that's one of the things I love about running, is the community. Is, you know, is everyone is there to encourage you. When you're feeling tired, it's like, you can do it, you know, keep going. So that's why I'm a big advocate for running. I'm not a fast runner, but it's just that sense of community.
Exactly. I'm a bit like you. I always say I'm neither fast nor pretty, but I will get to the end.
Yes.
And if I may, if you don't mind, I'd like to share a little running anecdote along the lines of what you were saying about how community spirited they are. When I started running, I decided I wanted to run a half marathon. So I joined a local running club, and they had a running course, 0 to 10K in 10 weeks. And I went along with that. And one of the weeks they said, right, you know, just after we'd all finished, they said, right, you're welcome to join the club as full members and come and join us when we do our 5-mile run. So I thought, oh, I'll go and do that. I'll see how it is. And I carried on the run. And of course, I was absolutely shattered. I'd just done a 10K. So 5 miles was within my limits. I was pushing myself. And I remember going to this race with the rest of the club and running along the seafront. I live near the sea, so I was running along the prom on the seafront. And as I came round the final corner, I could see everybody waiting at the finish line. And the person that coached me in the running group, the little group to learn to run, was running towards me saying, come on, Deb, you can do it, you're there. And I said, what's everybody waiting for? I thought they'd have all gone home. He said, no, they're waiting to cheer you over the line. I said, well, I'm not going up there then whilst they're all there. And I turned round to run back, because I was mortified that they'd all had to wait for me, because of course they'd finished streaks ahead of me. I was going to say hours ahead of me. It felt like hours, it wasn't, but and I felt mortified that I had made them wait for me to cross the finish line before they could go home, have their tea, have a hot cup of tea, have a drink, whatever it was they were doing. And my coach said, no, Deb, if the boot was on the other foot, you would be standing on that finish line cheering the last people over. That's all they're doing. But it took me a long, long time to accept they were doing it through
Mm,
genuine support rather than to stand there and laugh at me or ridicule me. And it stayed with me now. And it's one of those,
mm,
I think, well, I always cheer people on, and you always cheer on the underdog. Look at films we watch as
yeah.
viewers. You always want the underdog to win, don't you? And it's true what you say, the community within the running
Mm,
world is one of the biggest shocks to me.
yeah.
And I think you get that across most forms of exercise. If you do
Oh, you
group
do.
exercise, don't you?
Yeah.
And even back to what I was saying about the gym and you feel intimidated going in. I don't know about you, but in the few times in my life I've been a gym member, if I've seen somebody new come in and I've seen them struggling, the first thing you do is go and say, "Oh, do you want a hand with that? Has somebody shown you how to
Yes.
use this machinery? Are you
Yeah.
okay? Now, this is where you'll find the water cooler," or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And yet we all seem to think that when it comes to us as the new person, all of a sudden everybody's going to stop being kind and
Mm,
supportive. And
yeah.
so I love that you've talked about community. And in your article, you sort of finished it off with some key points, 5 or 6 key points
Mm.
about how to bring movement into your life. Would you like to summarize those points for us, um, and share them with us?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, one of the things is, just be curious. Is there something that you'd like to try? And it's, sitting down and thinking about what do you actually do throughout your day, because you will be so surprised at the movement that you do engage in. And if it's something you enjoy doing, like I suggested cleaning, because I
Mhm.
enjoy cleaning, is extend that to 20 minutes, because 20 minutes seems to be the sweet spot to release those feel-good chemicals, endorphins and dopamines. So when you engage in moderate exercise, and that's the key, is moderate exercise for 20 minutes, your brain releases those feel-good chemicals. Because research has shown, which is I find quite fascinating and interesting, is if you engage in intense exercise, it's not the same. Your
Mhm.
brain doesn't release the same chemicals. So moderate exercise is the key. So yeah, so it's looking at what am I doing each day and can I increase it and just intensify it a little bit so it increases your heart rate. What is it that you'd like to try, and give it a go. Just try it once. If you don't like it, that's fine. You can try something else. We forget walking. If you don't enjoy any of those things, walking is a great one, and especially walking out in nature, that gives you
Mm,
such a big boost. Gosh, so yeah, so highly encourage, yeah, going out for a walk.
fabulous.
Yeah.
And reasons for exercising, you talk about it being to do with mindset, and you end up
Mm,
saying, exercise, it's an effective treatment for so many things.
yes, absolutely. It's again incredible, and has been scientifically proven to as a treatment for anxiety and stress. I mean, think about it. When you go out for a walk or go out for a light jog, sometimes you feel so stressed and muddled and clouded, and when you get out there, it's amazing how it clears your mind, and you come back feeling, a lot more relaxed than you were before you left. So yeah, so great treatment for anxiety and stress. And like I said, it increases the feel-good chemicals in your body, so endorphins and dopamine. And it also improves your memory.
Hmm.
That's another thing, and it helps you learn better, um, and it regulates your circadian rhythm. I mean, that I hear so many people struggling with sleep now, especially now, with working at home and not moving as much as we would if we were in the office.
Hmm.
So people's sleep has been impacted. So get out and move, and my gosh, it improves your sleep quality as well. And yeah, and it just improves your overall health and well-being. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you are so right. It's so beneficial to us. And you've actually motivated me this afternoon to get my trainers out and get back out there and go for a little run, because I've not run for weeks and weeks, and I know I need to. And you're right about the impact it has on our mental health, on our sleep, on our ability to remember. Lavinia, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and thank you for giving me the metaphorical boost to get back out there as well. It's not just an honor and a privilege to be able to interview the contributing writers to MO2VATE magazine. For me, it's great. I learned so much through this process. I'm really, really honored. So thank you so much. And please tell viewers, listeners, readers where they can find out more about you if they're interested in taking up some sort of exercise or feel they need a little bit of support. How can they get hold of you?
Sure, thank you, Deb. Yes, please. If you go to my website, www.originofenergycoaching.com, there's information there. And you can book a call with me there as well, just to find out, how I can guide and support you. Yeah,
That's fantastic. Lavinia, thank you so much. And to those of you who are interested in finding out more about MO2VATE magazine, go to MO2VATEmagazine.com, and that's MO2VATE magazine.com. Lavinia, thank you so much.
Deb, thank you so much for the opportunity. Love chatting to you.